All right, joining us now is the Florida Congressman, Republican Brian Mast. He is a veteran and member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thanks for being with us here on the Hill. So for those of us, for those who don't know your background, who are watching on NewsNation or listening to us on SiriusXM, you served in Afghanistan in 2010. You were on patrol in Kandahar. You stepped on an IED, an improvised explosive device. You were trying to clear the way for Army Rangers. You lost two of your legs as a result. And I wonder, Congressman, on a day like today, when we think about the bravery 80 years ago, I wonder, sir, what went through your mind?
I definitely think about the bravery. You showed an image of them looking out from a vessel, and you're looking out at this clear beach. And you think when you're at the beach, you can't get away from the sun. They couldn't get away from the hail of fire coming from the cliffs above. There was no place for them to get away from it. Their only saving grace would be how quickly could they advance, and the volume of their brothers in arms that were to their left and right. And to me, that reminds me of what stays the same from war to war, and that is your commitment to the United States of America and your commitment to your brothers to your left and right in combat. And now in today's military, your brothers and sisters to your left and right in combat. So that stays the same. Nothing you wouldn't do for either of them.
It's interesting, Congressman, that you say that. So the feelings and the belief, essentially, and the camaraderie and the brotherhood, all of that stays the same. But as we watch this video from 80 years ago, you know, of surprise attack by boat, dropping in by plane by the thousands and tens of thousands, I don't think we're ever going to see that again, are we? And I wonder what you think the future of war looks like. I mean, nobody ever wants to see it, obviously, but it's sort of a new time and a new era. And I wonder what you think the future of fighting looks like if and when we ever get there.
There's a lot of conversation prior to me speaking about Ukraine. I was one of those individuals that absolutely pushed back against Ukraine funding.
Yeah,
it's because we see two very different commitments as it relates to conflict and winning war. Is there going to be strength and a total commitment to victory or not? And you were talking about the Biden administration. They're pushing Ukraine right now to say, don't use weapons against Moscow, against Russia proper. Only use weapons inside of the Ukraine. Imagine if it were World War II, and that was the lack of commitment that we had. Well, listen, we know that you went into France, we know that you went into Belgium, the Netherlands, all these other places, Poland, but we're not going to go touch Berlin. That would be escalation. But that's the kind of weakness that you have coming out of the Biden administration, and you juxtapose that to a Trump administration, which is about your yes is yes, your no is no, and you're going to show strength on behalf of the United States of America, which is a bigger and stronger country than the rest.
What do you take issue with from the president today? Because he outlined why we need to stand behind and with Ukraine and why we need to address and take on Vladimir Putin. I mean, Vladimir Putin is pushing back on this idea that, you know, maybe there could be attacks on NATO nations. There's a story out today about sending assets off the Caribbean. You're from Florida. I'm from Florida. You know, the Caribbean's essentially our backyard down there, Congressman, and they're sending ships out there potentially. And so I wonder what you think the pushback on Putin needs to be and what it needs to look like right now.
The pushback needs to be on a number of different fronts, some of which we look at, but we don't do them in the totality that they need to be. Let's start economically and say, if you're going to sanction a country, you wouldn't sanction a farmer without sanctioning their crops. But we see Russia and Iran that may have a larger growth in their GDPs in this year than the United States of America does, because those sanctions are not sanctioning their oil and gas in the way that they need to be. That's something that America could be addressing, certainly with Iran and snapping back those sanctions on them, and certainly making sure that the ghost fleets of vessels that get Russian oil and gas to China, to other places, to Iran, is not taking place. Otherwise, their economy will continue to grow. They'll continue to be able to fund the war. That's the economic side of it. I spoke about the kinetic side of it already. Don't push back against Ukraine to tell them, hey, don't send ordnance into Russia. That's leveling the playing field. That's a total commitment to helping them get to victory. But right now, the United States of America is not supporting Ukraine to win. They're supporting Ukraine not to lose.
All right, Congressman Brian Mast from Florida. We have to leave it there. Hope you come on back soon. Interesting to speak with you and hear your perspective of what happened 80 years ago today on this day. Congressman, thank you. Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.